Hello. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Um, I always forget to confirm that at the beginning. Oh, maybe you can't hear me. Oh, make sure I'm up to. If you can hear me, go ahead and say something in the chat. Oh wow. Maybe you can't see me. Okay. So Colette says hello. Okay, Lynn says hello. Good. All right, awesome. It's a bit more delay there than I had imagined. Okay, cool. Thank you, Fred. Um, I would say we should all sing Ruth happy birthday. So I don't know if we can do it in chat, but I can't really carry a tune, but that doesn't matter. We're going to sing Ruth happy birthday anyway. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ruthless Crab. Happy birthday to you. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Cha cha cha. So there you go. Don't say I haven't sung without any. Oh, so you can hear me. Oh no. Oh, so you hopped out and you didn't hear it. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh no. Well, it's in the recording. I don't think I'm gonna do it twice, but and in honor of Ruth's birthday, make sure you click the like button. That's just the thing you do on Wednesdays or Ruth's birthday. So yes, and I will not give up my day job. There is no danger of me singing, Lan. That is not something I'm going to do. Glad you made it, Jeff McPhee. Bonjour, Paul. Hello to Colette and to Bill Joseph and Bill Barrett. We got both Bills. Hello to Brian. And did I catch? Might not have caught everybody at the top. Oh, to Michael Perry. Hello, welcome as always, or welcome back. To Patrick as well. Welcome. And then it was cool to sit with folks on Saturday. So we'd mentioned this, and then Ralph and Kevin, I think, are probably going to do other things in the future. So I will let folks know. But yeah, the variations, do nothing variations, was on this past Saturday. So it was cool to sit with. I know for sure Colette and Ruth were there. If anyone else was there, shout out in the chat. That would be because that would be bad that I had already forgotten that. But yeah, so I remember Colette being there and Ruth. And if you don't know who I am and you have no idea what's going on, my name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. On Wednesdays, we come and we do a bit of a meditation for 25 minutes that we cap with a do nothing practice at the end. So we play around with some technique and then we contrast it with no technique or letting go of the technique altogether. That's the variations that we've been doing, our variations we've been doing here on Wednesdays now for a while, actually. I can't remember when this started, to be honest. Maybe it was in October or September. The last 6 months have been an interesting 6 months for me. So, and I'm noticing now that I did not shave this morning. Yes. So what's in the cards for us today, Paul? Excellent. Thank you. Very on point. So we're not doing the card thing today. That was an experiment that I'm going to do that we're going to do April, I think. I was just pitching that. So for folks that I've been sending out reminders for, I send out a reminder sometimes Sunday, sometimes Monday, often Tuesdays, sometimes 4 hours before this. And I'd mentioned this idea of, and I shouldn't do this because I'm not really trying to I'm not trying to promote this stuff, but like Roshi Joan did this this really, and to be honest, I'm not, again, this is not a hashtag ad, but these really nice cards that are they're all short practices. And this came out, and it's a, like a big deck of cards. It feels kind of like a tarot card, like a pro style tarot card deck. And then I'm particularly fond of a writer named Dr. Faith G. Harper, who does a lot of books that include swear words. So again, language warning. But in one of her Kickstarters, she kickstarts all her books, and which I think is a really good way to do publishing on your own, to self-publish. Most of her stuff comes through Microcosm Publishing, though. But they're coping cards, and they're like a standard playing card thing. And so I've been playing around. Like, I like this idea of pulling out a card and like this being a thing for you to focus on for the day or something along those lines. And so and I've been bugging Jeff about the fact that given Jeff's interest in the I Ching, and given sort of Jeff's ubiquity in practices, that Jeff could make a great deck of cards. So who knows? Maybe there's something going on there. I talked to Lily about that. Maybe that's going to happen. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. But as a result, I thought for April we'll pull we'll write out. I'll grab one of my decks and I'll write out techniques. Yeah, thank you, Fred. I also feel pretty confident that the secret won't get out from our video on here. So, although I do want to say thank you to the folks that watch who watch after the fact. So we do get a bunch of views after Wednesdays. So even in the evening tonight, North American time, and then in the mornings tomorrow. So thank you. So I'm not discounting the inner circle or anything along those lines, but yeah, I there's a tension in meditation coaching of not wanting to sort of channel surf with your techniques. You want to spend time with the technique long enough that you get used to a bit of what's going on. Saying that out loud makes me think a bit about Ralph's guidance around the contour of experience. You can see the contour of experience with a technique when you've done that technique a lot. When you've done a technique a lot too, you have this notion of a gravitational pull towards it. Or jokingly, I tried to, in my report on Saturday, I said something about, like you had that car that kind of pulled one way and you got used to it and you had to kind of counteract it. But if you let go of the wheel, it pulled either to the left or the right. My dad used to always joke that his car pulled towards the Dairy Queen, and that's why he ended up going and getting a cone at Dairy Queen. But our tendency of techniques, we may find a technique that we like to use more often, and often that becomes what Jeff calls our home base. So those are some thoughts around, one, keeping me on my toes from a standpoint, and then two, that means I don't have to have a theme each week to a certain extent. We can kind of be like, what's like Paul said, what's in the cards for us today? That really should be our tagline, Paul. So that's kind of where we're heading. Hopefully the video is a little bit better. I don't know if it is or not. We're still kind of trying to dial it in. We had a little bit of a internet improvement, so I know folks have communicated we've had some really bad days. We may still be having a bad day for today, but anyway, to report back, I said in March I'd have news about that. So we've got basically twice as much speed, but if you were going like 20 miles an hour and now you're going 40 miles an hour and everyone else is driving 160, it's probably still not, you're going 40 miles an hour is still not that great. So So yeah, so that's the news-ish stuff. But yeah, I'm thinking about cards, and so yeah, S Quinn, I was thinking about that. Who knows? Problem is that for me, as somebody who's a recovering printmaker, I try to make them myself. Wouldn't that be a bad idea? I have always wanted to make my own my own set of cards, or at least carve my own. Actually, right there, if you look, actually, which finger? There. That is a little woodcut, small woodcut block that I did that's hanging on the wall there. It's supposed to be a snow-capped mountain and a moon. So what are we going to do tonight? I have no idea if any of you will know the B-52s. And I actually don't know the origin of this lyric. So maybe I should probably not use this as my theme or my. This is really not a theme. It's more of an anchoring of an idea. And I had heard this story. I can't even remember where now. I had heard a story about Sharon Salzberg and Joseph Goldstein were talking to someone in Texas, and the guy in Texas was talking about how he couldn't wait until he got to Montana, because Montana was really like this wide open space, and he wanted to get to that. And hearing somebody in Texas say that is kind of funny to me, because Texas is so gigantic. But the notion that Joseph apparently had said, and this was reported by this person who was, I actually remember now where this came from. Jessica Taltz has a book called Stress Resets, and she was a guest on 10% Happier a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. Anyway, Joseph said, you have your own personal Montana, available to you and in your mind. Like, you have this like spacious quality that's available to you as a meditator. And I kept thinking about, and that is a good one, S. Quinn. I kept thinking about My Own Private Idaho. There was a B-52 song. Rock Lobster is an excellent song. Speaking of people who probably can't sing but do anyway, Fred Schneider, who folks will know from the B-52s. I always had an affection for the way that Fred Schneider sang, for whatever reason. But My Own Private Idaho was what I kept thinking about. Oh, Planet Claire is a great song too. I see everybody knows B-52s. This is great. Okay, so and there is a movie, as Jeff McPhee is pointing out, called My Own Private Idaho. But that was the thing for me, was really, we'll do a technique tonight that is starting with stillness and then just kind of feeling into spaciousness. What is my own private Idaho? Is there my own private Idaho? And then, in essence, really the only other thing, success is that you sat down. So if this spaciousness isn't available, that's fine. Actually, I think then now this is a small window into what it's like behind the scenes when I'm not guiding on the Do Nothing project. But when someone asks a question, then my brain immediately goes, I gotta go look that up. And so I'm like looking up, typing in and looking up. So My Own Private Idaho is River Phoenix, but I don't know if Nick Cage is in it. But the title star, I'm pretty sure, for My Own Private Idaho was River Phoenix. I can't remember if Corey Feldman's in it, but for some reason, okay, is it Keanu? I'll see, now I got to do this. All right, so as you can tell, I did not prepare super much here. Okay, so Keanu Reeves, River Phoenix, excellent. Okay, well, that's enough. So kudos to Patrick and to Jeff McPhee. Yeah, so I had one of the two. But, all right. So enough talking. We're going to see what spaciousness is available. An acknowledgement always to Jeff Groves, who is, I think of every time I turn my phone off and set my timer. I'm going to ring a bell. I will let you know at the end when I'm going to ring the bell, just so that you have a little bit of a warning before I ring it. As you can tell, ringing bells is a topic that's at least Jeff and I were corresponding a bit. So, all right. So go ahead and just begin the process of settling in. And you're always welcome to do your own practice and allow my voice to be in the background. And if you need to modify the posture instructions that are given, please feel free to do that as well. So if you're standing, lying down, or walking, again, totally valid in all of the pursuits there. I'll focus on the seated posture, either on a chair like I'm sitting right now or on a cushion. And really just beginning with the idea of a stable base, and then allowing the torso to be upright without being uptight. And then pausing just to get an idea of what's the inner weather, what's already here. And we're not doing that to make any changes. We're not doing any sort of inner renovations. We're just seeing what it's like. What's here? How does the body feel right now? What's the attitude in the mind? And if there's maybe pain or tension in the body, just acknowledging that. Like, oh, there's tightness in the shoulders. There's a soreness in the back. And a chance for us to bring an accepting, no big deal attitude. Like, oh yeah, that's there. And then a few deliberate breaths. And again, our motto that we're borrowing from the Beastie Boys, slow and low is the tempo that we're looking for. And so breathing in slow through the nose allows us to breathe low into the belly. And breathing from the belly, we can extend and accentuate the exhale. And so just marking this spot here as a place we can come back to. So a spot where we just have just enough awareness to be aware that we're sitting. And then allowing ourselves to really kind of settle into the posture. And that doesn't mean we need to be a statue or rigid. It's just this idea of there's stillness and a bit of movement, and then a return of stillness. And so we don't need to focus on the breath, but as we sit and we're aware of the stillness, we will become aware of the movement. And so you may want to focus on the body. That's one option here. And that could be focusing on the pressure points if you like that. Could be focusing on where there's stillness in the body. Can focus also on kind of the body sensations around the natural movement of sitting. There's this sort of delicate quality to the way the ribs expand and the sides of the body move, the torso. And I often leave out the instructions around the eyes. So it's always your choice. But if it helps you to feel into a spacious quality by closing your eyes, then you can check that out. And if it doesn't, no big deal. And if you want, just kind of playing a bit with kind of feeling into the body. So, what is the experience? What is the sort of interoception side of things? The feeling inside the body. And for some, you can kind of feel the whole body all at once. And you may feel a slight pulse to feeling the whole body at once. Or you may not. Again, nothing right or wrong, just what's available. You may feel sort of the pressure in different places around the body. Again, like I said, the pressure points. And then finally kind of seeing if we can open up kind of this aperture of experience into the world. So you're sort of seeing the world from your own private Idaho. And so I'll let you explore a bit. And I'll check back in after a while. And hopefully the clock can keep you a little bit of company. And if you're not used to having your eyes closed, you can always go ahead and open them again. That's, again, totally your choice, your sit. And you can play with the eyes sort of half open if you want sort of something in between. And so you may find that you've gotten kind of tugged away by fantasy or planning or something. And you want to start over. And so, how do you start over in this sort of loose, expansive technique here? And so, one way would be to come back to the stability of the body, focus on the stillness, and then again, turn that aperture back out, knowing that you could restart and sort of refocus any number of times. So keep going. And you're always welcome to keep on going if you want to hold on to the technique. But this is your opportunity to let go and coast. So we've been pedaling along with our technique. We've made it to the crest of a hill, and this is that chance for us to coast down. So in do nothing, we're letting go of any intention to control our attention. And if we notice that we're trying to micromanage our attention again, we let go of that. And if we notice that a number of times in a row, we just decide that maybe that's what we want to do. So And sometimes with do nothing, you kind of have this urge to reset, but you think, oh, I'm not supposed to do anything to reset, or that sounds like something. So just giving you the idea or the permission to reset and let go again. So maybe correct the posture, flash a bit of your concentration and sensory clarity on the body, and then let go. And before we ring the bell here, just offering gratitude. Thank you for everyone taking time out of your week to sit together here with the community. And a quick acknowledgement if there's any merit generated from our time together, may it go to benefit all sentient beings. We're rapidly approaching the top of the hour, and I know some folks may have things to head off to. Thank you very much. Have an incredibly happy birthday, Ruth. I'm so glad that you spent part of your birthday with us. Trying to think from a logistics perspective. I think I haven't seen confirmation, but Jeff is, I'm pretty sure, on the docket for Sunday. Good to hear, Lynn. So we'll do Nothing Project as normal on Sunday. And then March is a new month for a theme for the CEC. You can find out more at cec.com and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get the newsletter each month. If you don't have the newsletter and you want to take a look at what's there, you'll find the archive in this month's newsletter in the archive, and it's an essay in interview form between Jeff and Aaron on the topic of neurodiversity. That's the theme for the month. So yeah, quick question. Oh, that's right. So Fred, thank you. I did say there was time, and you're welcome to type in your question, Patrick. I'll offer a response. Yes, the daylight savings. So there will be a time change next week. So folks may not realize this or know for sure that I live in Arizona, and Arizona doesn't change, which means that I usually am shifting back and forth, or Saban and myself and the rest of the folks in Arizona are shifting back and forth. And so to keep this time consistent so that I can still make it to my Zen, we do virtual. I have a Zen study group that is happening sometimes at the top of the hour. It isn't tonight, but it will be next week, to keep that. And then also for me to make it to some of the different, well, I should be working out more, but I'm not. But there is a high intensity training, interval training, that I will sometimes do on Wednesdays. I'm going to try to keep the time the same for me, which is an inconvenience for all of you, and my apologies in advance. So as Patrick and Fred pointed out, daylight saving is going to shift things. So my time never changes, but I become equivalent to Pacific. So that means that this is no longer 7:15. It's no longer 7:15 Eastern. It's now 8:15 Eastern. So it's a little bit worse for the Eastern time zone folks. And then it'll be 7:15 for Central. For folks that live in the mountain time zones, it will also shift for you, unfortunately. And so it will be it'll be at 6:15, and then for Pacific people, it'll be at 5:15. So yeah. Sorry. But because my Zen group has that slot, it makes it easier if I move it around. So remember to, if you can't make it, we'll always have a recording of it. So but I appreciate that. So my partner was like, you know, people will understand. And so yes, so it'll be 8:15, which means that I'll have to remember when I post my updates on Sundays, that'll be 8:15. So it'll be 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central. And then for Lynn and for the few folks that are international, I think it will mean that it'll be at 12:15 Thursday instead of 12:15 or 11:15, I think. But I'll have to do the time calculation. So, and I know we've got a few Aussies that will show up. And so I will get that. So I know Sarah's not here tonight, Sarah Moss. But so there will be a time change. I'll send that out as a reminder. And then if I love this website, although they've got ads on it now, but I guess ads are everywhere. You can't escape them. But there's a website called Time Is. And if you go to the thing in Time Is, there's a time comparison, and you can put different time zones into it. And so if you're trying to find a time, well, this was incredibly convenient during the pandemic, but you can put in your time at a particular thing, and then the time zone that you're looking at, and then you can figure out what is the actual time there for this. So I use Time Is a lot to try to figure out, and that's actually how I figured out when this is for folks in Sydney. I think I usually say Australian time, but I'm very East Coast centric, I guess. So I don't know that we've got any folks on the western part, so nobody in Perth or anything. But yeah. So thanks for the reminder. So I probably should post that as a YouTube message as well. So I'll post it as a YouTube message. So for the folks that are subscribed, thank you, first off. and then you'll see that as well. So that'll be another reminder for next week. I was joking with Jeff in a text message that at least he had gotten back from Costa Rica, because longtime attendees from the Do Nothing Project will know that we've had some daylight savings time snafus around Jeff being in Costa Rica and me not thinking about daylight savings time because I live in Arizona. And so hilarity ensues, maybe. I don't know. I appreciate it. Someone had said that the technical difficulties are endearing, and so I'm glad that they're endearing. It also helps soften the load. I was sharing technical difficulties that I had with Ralph on Saturday, just because that's the kind of thing that, when you're trying to host a virtual sits and stuff, you almost invariably get some sort of technical difficulties. So in the realm of software, they always say don't do live demos, and like being a meditation coach online is sort of like doing live demos, I guess, in the software world. So thank you again, everyone. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for all the likes. And then last thing is, I haven't forgotten about trying to do some sort of Zoom style format. So still trying to figure that out. I'm also slightly inspired by Kevin and Ralph doing something similar. So I haven't forgotten about that. So excellent. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great Thursday if you're in a place where Thursday is. So tell the future Lynn that we're coming, and we'll see you on Sunday.